I feel kind of strange filming this on a bike. You know, normally I'd be out running.
I decided to go for a little run.
But that's not happening at the moment. At what point does a healthy drive turn into an unhealthy obsession? Well, we'll find out later in this video.
But before I dive into what happened to me, a question. If I were to ask you what would be the main reason runners get injured, were you also thinking in the lines of bad shoes, weak glutes, overstriding? Well, in most cases, it's much simpler than that.
Simple.
Most running injuries occur when the stress you put on your body is more than what your body can tolerate. You can think of it like a balance scale. On one side, you've got training stress, your mileage, intensity, terrain, shoes, sleep, nutrition. And on the other side, tissue capacity. As long as these two are in balance, you adapt and get stronger. But when the stress side goes too far, your body stops adapting. And that's where injuries can start to creep in. Now, there are a few practical ways you can keep that balance in check. The first is gradual progression. As a rule of thumb, you shouldn't increase your mileage by more than 10% per week, and don't try to add intensity and volume altogether. 2 is recovery weeks. Every 3 to 4 weeks, add a lighter week in to let your body recover and get stronger. 3 is pay attention to early warning signs. Pain that doesn't go away or worsens during your run or after, or stiffness that doesn't go away after a warm-up are some very early warning signs. And 4 is consistency over spikes. Injuries usually don't come by running too much, but from running too much too soon. And I know all of this. I teach this to the athletes I coach. I ended up breaking my own rules. Hit like if that sounds familiar, and maybe subscribe so we can make better decisions together next time. I had this idea in my head that I would build up to a 100-kilometer week. Idiot! I convinced myself that a higher volume in my marathon prep would get me better results on race day itself. 4 weeks before I completed my marathon, I started feeling some pains in my big toe. Nothing too serious, I could still run, I had only slight discomfort, so like most runners, I ignored it. And despite the ache, I finished the marathon in a very respectable time of 2 hours and 59 minutes. And the pain in my big toe was still pretty manageable. I had planned some downtime after the marathon anyway, and during that time, I thought I would get that checked out. So 2 weeks after the marathon, I did. The results of the scan came back, increased sclerosis of the sesamoid bone. In other words, a stress reaction on my big toe. And this is a sign that my big toe was overloaded and actually close to fracturing. And this is the kind of injury you don't push through without consequences. And looking back, it's clear the injury didn't happen from one bad training or one misstep. It came from weeks of small decisions, thinking more volume was always going to be better. So if you are trying to hit a new PR or improving yourself regularly, then ask yourself this question. Am I building something, actual strength and endurance, or am I just testing my limits? Thank you guys for watching. If this video helped you reflect on your own training, then hit subscribe. I'll be sharing more lessons from both the wins and the setbacks. So I'll see you guys in the next one.